I'm Debbie.
And I'm Allison.
And we're the Poltergals. Spooky. Hi, I'm Debbie.
And I'm Allison.
And we're the
Poltergals.
Welcome back to another episode of the Poltergals. This week we're going to be talking about Camp Douglas, located in Chicago.
So this one has a very dark history.
Ooh, we love dark and spooky things.
So this was founded very specific to the season in the fall.
Wow. In the middle of summer, we totally are talking about an episode. It's fine.
It's great. Who cares about the seasons, right?
Yeah, we're just here.
So this was founded in fall of 1861
Wow.
as a training camp for Union forces.
There we go.
So great.
I'm talking Civil War era,
Yep.
baby.
Yep. So the camp was named after Stephen Douglas, whose property on the south served as the site for the camp. In 1862, the camp switched over to serve as a prison for the rebel soldiers they captured from Fort Henry and Fort Doloson. Yeah.
Interesting.
Which added about 15,000 soldiers.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's a lot.
Yeah. It's we'll find out how horrible that was.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
Dun, dun, dun.
So this was nicknamed the Gallery of Horrors.
Ooh, I love that name.
So-
New name for my art gallery. Gallery of Horrors.
Can we please have that? over
Yeah.
at
Oh my
Cultivate?
gosh, should we do a haunted house at Cultivate? That'd be so fun.
That'd be great.
Yeah, we could do a full-on spooky, art gallery, spooky. I don't know. Now I'm going to be thinking the Gallery of Horrors. Can you make my voice go like, horrors, 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 horrors? Can you do that?
Yeah, and that'd make it even creepier since you just did it too. 'Cause- yikes.
Oh, okay.
So the first prisoners arrived in February, and the number of prisoners that arrived was 3,200.
Wow.
So if you think about it,
And then it went up to 15.
so you add 15 to that, so it's like 18.
Oof.
Yeah, because those two forts.
18,000 people.
Yeah.
Wow.
So the camp was 60 acres, which was divided up and named according to its purpose, which would make sense.
Yeah.
Because
Naming things based off of the things that they do?
yeah,
Wow.
yeah. So for example, Garrison Square, which was about 20 acres, was for the soldiers and the officers.
Mm-hmm.
Hospital Square, which was about
Let me
10
guess.
acres.
For the hospital?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And so this next one was about 10 acres, and it was White Oak Square, which was originally the prison itself.
Ooh.
When word was received that the camp would be getting more prisoners, it was then combined with other squares surrounding it to make it the prison square.
Dun, dun, dun.
Which made it soon to overload the prison. Chicago PD was called to serve as prison guards.
That's interesting.
Yeah. So,
For the military base.
yeah. I was like, you're going to call local officers to
Yeah.
help.
I feel like they're trained very differently.
Very, very differently. Military.
Regular Chicago
yeah.
PD.
Yeah, who cares, right?
Yeah, they don't got nothing better they're doing. It's the middle of the Civil War.
Yeah, right? They're already all fighting anyway. So,
Yeah, whatever. It doesn't matter.
yeah. So due to the occasional prisoner exchange, in the first 2 years of the Civil War, the number of prisoners changed. And at one point, it was the largest military prison in the North.
Ooh, spooky.
Yeah. Which is crazy.
You know what crazy stuff happens there.
Oh,
Dun, dun, dun.
no. That's when you get the ghosties.
Ghosts.
So by the end of the war, 26,000 men had been incarcerated.
Oh my gosh. Hey, okay, I gotta read the note. So it says, after she said incarcerated, it says, in quotation or in parentheses, this is gonna be the word of the week. I just know it. I can feel it in my soul, in bracket. But guess what? It wasn't.
It wasn't.
You did it. You said incarcerated.
Proud of
You said it so good. I'm so proud of you.
I work so hard.
You're doing great, sweetie.
Thanks, Mom.
Anna and Christian are meme.
So, yeah. 26,000 had been incarcerated.
Mm-hmm.
Escapes from the camp were frequent. And like most prison camps, Camp Douglas had a high mortality rate. 1 in 7 prisoners died.
That is so crazy. So let's do some quick math. So there's 26,000
Yeah.
prisoners. Okay, so 26,000 prisoners. And then it says 1 in 7. So I'm going to divide it by 7. So about 371 people died.
That's yikes.
Yeah.
That's just from, well, we're going to find out what that's from, but
Ooh.
yikes.
Yeah, well, 371.42 people died. Does that count as half? I guess we can round it up.
How do you even get 4.42?
0.42 of a person.
Is it like their arm
Hey,
and their
wasn't this
leg
during
died?
the 3/5 compromise? It was 0.42.
Makes sense.
See,
Mom.
listen, back in the day, they wouldn't let you vote if you were the 3/5 compromise. Listen, I'm 8/5 of a person, so
Oh, makes so much
I should
more
get
sense.
double vote. No, I'm kidding.
Great.
But yeah.
So these people,
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how poor they are or how bad I should feel for them.
Oh,
but
no.
They died of poor sanitation, poorly constructed buildings, and weather conditions were the biggest factors to so many of these people passing.
Oh, no.
They didn't have very good clothing, little food, and like I said, sanitation was pretty bad.
Well, I mean, yeah, because they're like shoving them in like cows in a pen. They're just like, how many can we fit in there? Keep them
Honestly.
going. How many chickens can we put in this one coop? Just shove
Look
them.
at all them
Chickens.
Yeah.
It's just prisoners in a cell. Sadly.
Unfortunately. And so by the end of 1863, so about a year later,
Okay.
smallpox had emerged.
Not the smallpox.
The little BB ones.
Oh,
Yeah,
no.
the
little pox
the
that
little
are
pox.
small.
Yeah.
Little pox.
The little pox.
Yeah.
Yeah. Had emerged at the camp. And by the end of the war, 4,000 prisoners total had died in the camp. And there were,
Oh, my God.
so 4,000 prisoners total.
So that's actually way more than I had calculated.
But if you think about it, that's also like, you don't
I mean,
know how
during
many,
literally the smallpoxes, an outbreak.
so smallpox, sanitation,
Mm-hmm.
and then any of the rebel
Mm-hmm.
soldiers that were coming in, they were already wounded.
Oh, God.
So it's like 1 in 7 died of poor conditions.
There you go. And then the rest of them just
the
died
rest are
from
like-
the rest of the things that are wrong. Got it. Okay, deal.
Yeah.
That
just say
caused
that.
4,000 deaths.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, that sounds better.
Yeah, great.
So if you think about it, the 300 whatever 0.42 of a person
Yeah.
minus the 4,000, so you have
Oof.
like 3,000.
Oh, yeah. 3,000 people just died of something
0.6.
else.
0.6. The
Oh,
3,000.6
of something else. Yeah.
So, by the end of the war, there were 64 barracks, each being about 24 by 90, and each building could hold up to about 95 prisoners.
Oh my gosh. I feel like, I mean, I was going to say 25 by 90, that's not bad, but then like 25 prisoners each,
Yeah.
that's crazy.
Holding up to 95.
Wow.
There was an estimated capacity
95.
of 6,000 prisoners.
6,000?
Yeah. So that's
Prisoners?
how much it could hold.
Wow.
So if you think about it, the amount of people that died,
It's about the amount of people that
Yeah,
could actually
that's
fit
75
legally in the
yeah.
building.
70 that's pretty much 75% of what could fit in
Good job. Yeah, so
place.
if you put a dead body in each room, almost the entire capacity would be filled with
Yeah.
dead bodies. Great.
Yeah. But the bad news is
Oh, no.
all of that was just a joke to them.
Oh, that's a
Yeah.
joke.
So
JK.
each barrack
Mm-hmm.
held about 189 prisoners.
189?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, listen, I'm not one of those people that's really strict on fire codes and all that, but
Yeah.
listen, if it's supposed to, like, they're like, I think 95 people is already a tight fit, but 12?
Yeah.
What? 100?
Yeah.
Like
189, and the capacity.
189? That's over double. Like,
Yeah.
what?
And then literally the capacity level, 12,000. So it was quite literally double of
Oh
what
my
it should have
gosh.
been holding.
That is crazy.
Yeah.
They're like, just keep throwing them in there.
Yeah. It was like,
Well, no wonder. The sanitary conditions are probably terrible.
yeah, that's exactly why.
Oh my God.
Yeah, that's exactly why the sanitations were horrible. So the camp had reached its capacity within the first month.
In the first month?
Yeah. The first month.
So, and then they were like, well, I guess we still got a war going on. I guess
Yeah.
we just got to keep putting these people in here. Great.
Yeah, so within the first month. And then the camp sat low and close to Lake Michigan, causing many of the problems that Camp Douglas had, such as drainage, the lake, along with cold winds. So if you could imagine that adding to those,
Great.
yeah.
That's
They're like, who cares?
Hey, but I mean, they could at least huddle together for warmth. There were so many of them.
I mean,
Like penguins.
But think about it.
I've seen Happy Feet. I've seen March of the Penguins. They just gotta huddle together.
I don't think that's how that
Oh,
works.
that's not how it works. That's not how hypothermia works. Oh, I don't know science. I don't know.
I mean, yes, but
Yes, but no.
if you think about it, yes, that's how hypothermia works. But do you really want to be smushed
Yeah, no.
with people with smallpox,
Ew.
wounds in
Ew.
their guts, their
Ew.
guts spilling out?
Ew.
Yeah.
Gross. That's a little grody.
yeah. I don't think you want
I
that, man.
would. I am checking out of this hotel. I would not stay there. Ma'am, this is a prison. Oh, I can't just leave.
Imagine like this room, and you're being squished, and then that. I want to check out. Oh no, I can't.
To leave. Oh, I can't leave. Oh, I'm prisoner of war. Oh, well, guess I'm stuck
Great.
here. Great, thanks.
So, yikes. There were about 150 prisoner camps during the Civil War. Camp Douglas was by far the worst and containing the most deaths out of all of them.
Wow, that's crazy. 4,000 deaths.
Yeah.
Wow.
If there are other camps, then why didn't they just take them over? I guess it was too much of a risk.
Maybe. I don't know. They contain the most. Wow. Interesting. Well, now that you guys know a little bit about the history, it's time for a commercial break.
Commercial break.
All right. Bye.
And now, a word from our sponsors.
Spooky. This week, you're brought to you by Prison Hotel. Once you check in, you can't check out. You get a case of the smallpox and a small cot. 3 hots and a cot. Just kidding. You actually get tortured and you die. The end. Check out. Ding.
Bye.
Check, please. All right. And that's this week's sponsor. All right. Time to get back into it.
And now, a word from our sponsors.
Spooky. All right. So we're back. So Allison just went over all of the history about Camp Douglas, used during the Civil War, some of the reasons why people died there, and then I'm gonna go into some of the hauntings and maybe a few murders. Ooh. All right. So Camp Douglas is known to have a many a spirit. Obviously, there's a lot of death that happened here, a lot of sadness, but they actually have a few like familiar spirits that are often like show up, and there are a few different actual other things that happen here, other than it being other things that caused it to be even more haunted. You know what we always say, when bad things happen at places, guess what? More bad things are gonna happen at
Why not
places.
just keep adding the
We
bad?
just keep putting more bad on bad. So one of the most familiar spirits that I have is Resurrection Mary. So Resurrection Mary is actually seen flagging down cars traveling down Archer Avenue. So it's like really close. It's like right by it, and there's just like a lady flagging down cars. But just kidding. She's actually a ghost. So she's one of the familiar spirits. One of the other spirits, or spirits with an S, is actually the Seven Unfortunates. So the Seven Unfortunates are actually the people who were gunned down during the St. Valentine's Day Massacre. So that was one of the events that took place here. And you can actually see these spirits prowling on North Clark Street. So,
also, if you don't know the origin story of Valentine's Day, keep up. We talked about it on Valentine's Day.
It's true. It's true. And then there's also a bunch of young women who were actually murdered by a notorious murderer, H.H. Holmes. So these young women are actually seen wandering around the grounds of what was the world's Columbian explosion. What's up with people getting exploded on this podcast?
Explosion. And throwing out of second story windows.
I know, right?
Hey, but instead of the triple P, it's the triple H.
H.H. Holmes. Triple H. Scary. But yeah, and then so all of those individual things happen on site of what used to be Camp Douglas. Yikes. So again, just tragedy after tragedy taking place on the same place over and over. And then some people will actually tell you a story that they've actually seen and heard some like soft moanings in the distance. And it's said to actually be the ghost of John Dillinger, I'm assuming that's how you pronounce it. And they just see him, strolling up Lincoln Avenue near the Biograph Theta. So if you see a old-timey guy just, chilling up the street, that's probably a ghost. In case you didn't know.
What?
But yeah, so John Dillinger. And then it's also said that spirits of those that lived at Camp Douglas have never been seen or heard due to the belief that those once living in the camp lived through actual hell on earth. They've already had enough bad experiences that maybe they're not there.
I would hope so.
Yeah.
But yikes.
Mm-hmm.
Boy, oh boy. I'm so excited for all of our sexy ghosts who get to see that phone call.
Well, there you go. I'm a busy lady.
If
got
you
a job.
Want to see Debbie's phone call, be sure to join on Patreon and be a sexy ghost. Otherwise, you don't get to hear it.
You won't even know that this ever happened. It'll be cut out. No one will even know. Anyway, so since these people had already experienced hell on earth, it's said that maybe not even those spirits can be seen or heard because they've already been so much trauma and tragedy. And then there's also one of the other stories that's happened here is former banking executive David Keller for some years actually had a couple pals that started the Camp Douglas Restoration Foundation. You can find out more at campdouglas.org. This foundation actually started back in 2010.
I do put my resources.
Yeah, check out campdouglas.org. Find out more information there because we're bad at giving history. No, I'm kidding. We're bad at giving correct information. No, I'm kidding. We do our job good. Anyway, so yeah. And so this banking guy, David, he actually is super invested in the history of Camp Douglas. And he actually wanted to restore the history of Camp Douglas. So you can kind of find out more there. And yeah, pretty cute. Trying to start a little foundation. Anyway, back to death. Many of the dead that came from the camp were buried in the city cemetery and were later moved.
Of course they were.
Because, we can never let the dead actually rest.
What's that?
Which we all know stirs up some kind of negative energy. Dun, dun, dun. Yes. In parentheses, as of Allison's note. Because who wants to be forced out of their resting place or final home? Not I. Okay, but then it's another bracket next to a bracket, and it says, but we love our polter pals on the other side.
Yep.
And that was pretty nice. But yeah, so of course, most of the bodies did get moved, which of course, caused some stirrings. Even after everything they already went through.
Poor people.
I mean, we were rebels and like kind of were in a war, but
fighting for a cause that they believed in.
But wasn't a good cause. No, anyway.
I mean, to be fair, they were fighting over slavery, so was it a thing?
Well,
yes. Was it right? No. Should Texas be its own country?
No.
Yes, but too bad it's in the Constitution, so we can't. But Texas is still the greatest state in the world.
Anyway, so actually, speaking of that, many African Americans actually enlisted at Camp Douglas and then ended up fighting in the war. So there's a possibility that many of those people haunted the land. So the people that gave up their life for the military ended up actually giving up their life for the military. Respect.
Yeah.
But anyway, there's actually a lot of videos out there that talk about the hauntings and the history of the camp. So of course, go take a look at them and tell us what you found, because we'd love to do a part 2 of this episode. As we say about a lot of our episodes, there's just so much we can't cover it all in one podcast. So we just honestly, we could probably be sitting here talking forever.
We really could, but unfortunately, time does not go in our favor.
Yeah, and so we might post some links. We'll post them in our description. Make sure they're in the description. And then I'll try and post them on our social media, maybe some little clippies, so you can see some of the spooky, scary, silly ghosts that we see.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that's all of the hauntings. So now we know about Camp Douglas, the history, some murders, some massacres. What more do you want?
Oh, I don't know. I don't know. Maybe some good ghosties.
Maybe good ghosties. Not on this episode. But yeah, that's all. Thank you guys for listening and joining us for another episode of The Poltergals.
Be sure to tune in on YouTube and wherever you get your podcasts. Also, check us out on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok.
Yeah.
And I don't even know if we have a Snapchat, but there's that.
We need to make one. Let us know. Wait, because Snapchat's logo is literally a ghost, so we have to get on Snapchat.
It's a ghost.
Also, me and Austin might be going to get ghost tattoos, so keep an eye out for that content. Yep. Whoop whoop. All right. Well, that's all for this episode.
Bye.
You've been listening to The Poltergals,
a Rogue Media Network podcast.
This has been a Rogue Media podcast.